Welcome back to Factorio Space Age. My name is Nilaus, and this is the masterclass for Factorio Space Age. We are on Volcanus. We've just landed, we got it safely and functional, built the hub, built up some science, and this is going to take a while. And what we're going to do today is backtrack a little bit and take a look at what we need to prepare before we go to the third planet. And why are we going to the third planet so fast? Well, the thing is, there is a dilemma with multiple planets. Is that you can either go as fast as possible to unlock the new tech on the new planet, or you can stay on a planet and build up a proper base with proper design. I kind of find a middle ground here where we have a functional base that is able to produce stuff. It's not completely minimalistic, but I also decided not to do yellow and purple signs before going to Volcanus. And I know some people don't dislike that choice, but that's my choice to make. Then we're on Volcanus, and that means we unlock the foundries, amazing. We unlock the big miners, amazing. We unlock cliff explorers, even more amazing. And for some, also artillery is amazing. So those are the new things that we unlock. But then we still find ourselves, we wanted to make science on Volcanus, and that would be purple, and yellow science is the ones that's screaming for attention. But if we want to do that, then we have to make more circuits. And if we want to make more circuits, like making circuits in blue assemblers is atrocious. We have a little bit of it, but we really don't like it. So what to do? Are we going to rebuild like these awful designs on Volcanus, only to rebuild them again once we get to Gleba? No. So now we're going to leverage the fact that by unlocking Volcanus early, we have two things that we can work at the same time. Because what happens as soon as we leave for Volcanus, then the base on NAUVIS is going to be pretty idle. Yeah, we launch a few things to orbit once in a while, some circuits over to the other planet, but basically it's not really doing that much, and it is mainly idle here on the base because there's no more science, there's no anything else that's produced. So what we could do and should do is we should find something meaningful for the NAUVIS base to do while we are on Volcanus building this thing here. So basically as soon as we go over, we'll work on two planets. In the previous episode I focused on the Volcanus side, and on this episode we'll focus on the NAUVIS side. So what is it we want NAUVIS to do while we are slowly building up the hub and the science on Volcanus? Well, the answer is pretty obvious. It is going to be for science. It's going to be purple science and it's going to be yellow science. But I don't want to build like a new giant build up here, mainly because I don't really need it. I just need a little bit. If we look at the purple science and the stuff that we really want here, well, what are the things that we like? The main point here is this one, 75, that's not much. And over here, that one, 500, that's a little bit more, but still manageable. Here's another 300 for the blue belts, so that we can get green belts on Volcanus. And anything else? I don't know. Maybe some things are nice to have, but those are the ones that are essential, because those are the ones that actually unlock new capabilities and will change the designs. So those are the ones that I will focus on, and that's, as you can see, it's not really that much. When it comes to yellow science, what is it that's super important with yellow science? Not much. Well, actually a little bit. It's the portable fission reactor. We also have another interesting little conundrum that I kind of glossed over last time, which was a little bit unfair, and that is the fact that if we look at these, damn it, where are you? They are going to be here. These turbines, good old turbines. There we go. How are they unlocked? Well, they're unlocked by the heating tower, which is a unlock thing on stromatolite. So that's on Gleba only, or with this one. This is only blue tech. Yeah, but you have to mine a single uranium. So the thing that we want our Volcanus, our NAUVIS base to do is we wanted to do uranium, so we might as well do Covarex and uranium processing, and we wanted to make purple and yellow science. So that's the objective today. The first thing in terms of mining uranium, so we unlock it, it's actually pretty simple, and I would suggest something like this. This isn't going to do anything right now. If I did that, oh, it's nighttime. I guess it's nighttime. If I was not in editor mode, then it would be nighttime. And let's see, well, whatever. There's something here that can change nighttime. But when this one goes online, no power, that's because it's nighttime. But when it starts up, yep, there we go. This one process, and once it's processed, it gets a little bit of sulfur in here, and then it starts mining. As soon as it mined one, then you unlock the the tech for uranium. So it doesn't need more than this. Extremely simple. Even if it's very slow, as long as it just mines one, then you get the research completed. That means we just need to do that thing before moving forward. So in this area, what we're going to do is we are going to be taking this out, and we're going to be making a train station. That will be 3 wagons of uranium inbound, and it'll be 1 wagon of sulfuric acid outbound. So this is now getting the sulfuric acid into 1 wagon, and then goes out, picks up the uranium just in 3 wagons, goes back in here. And this is actually a 1-2-3 splitter. It looks awful, but it's a 1-2-3 splitter, and that's just how it is. Then we want to get in here, and I want this to be a balance belt. So make it end up a balance belt like this. And then it has to go somewhere down here. And then we need a lot of these. Maybe like this, I guess. I think it's always like 12 seems like a good number. 10. 10 is a good number. 10 is a good number. Always 10. There. Build that on there and there, and then take this one out. Good. And that will be here. And then we'll have another one outbound. And it's just a matter of figuring out the inputs and outputs for this. So we're going to start with some power poles here, here, and that allows this to be outbound and inbound, inbound and outbound. And then it also probably allows some lights here. And then again, that one, and then that's just repeatable. Do you want to put productivity modules in this? I don't know. I don't want to, but I can see why you'd want to. What we're going to do here is we are just simply going to filter this one to get the good uranium upwards. There. That will go into a Coverx build eventually. That way. And then the rest will go into a stockpile, which will just be a simple stockpile. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's also 6 here. And we are basically only getting... No, I guess we make do with just on one side. And let's get some power. And these are all going to be there. Right, so now this one has to go out like that into a belt. That goes... Oh no, don't do that. This. Okay, and then I want to make like the first thing here. This is that, and it will of course be getting some productivity modules as good as it can. Then it gets in here, and it also gets from that side. So if anyone comes by, then that's going to be it. And then we're going to get inbounds as well here. That is coming. That's going to be iron inbound, easy. And the sulfur comes underneath, and then we just need inputs, outputs of this. Let's see, and that will be here. This will be uranium ammo. And then we'll set some kind of constraint to how much we want. I only want 10 because it's damn expensive in the beginning. Okay, so now we need to do another interesting design here. This belt here will eventually have a little bit of good uranium, and therefore we need this part, or want this part, to be our Coverx build, because we also have that. Let's see. 1, 2, I think I wanted 3. So this is going to be our Coverx build. And the Coverx build, we're going to make a simple one, like as simple as we possibly can. And that is non-jammable. So this will be a combined belt of both things, like that. There's a reason why I do it this way. I'll get to that. And then I'll have the outbound here. And that will be simply going outbound and inbound. Yes, it'll outbound first and then it'll inbound afterwards. And then I get some power poles. We'll build them like this. So this is going to be the basic design for this. And that means everything goes out on the outside belt. So once it comes out on the outside belt, we are going to branch it immediately-ish here. We're again going to take it such as that one. There. So this is going to be the good uranium. That needs to be going into a simple placeholder box where it gets pushed in. So this just means that it goes in and goes around and then goes into another loop. First of all, when this one outputs, it will output and then input here again. So this is the same speed output as input, so it'll just filter, and then there's only any excess that goes in, goes into this box and goes in until this belt is also full. But then, since it's here, we can also do this one, which would sort of be a, say, long-term storage, where now we have a reserve, which I can also use to feed in here and just make more. But this is, this one is only going to take it out when the content of this box is more than 50, for example. This is a very, very simple way of guaranteeing that there will always be up to 50 here before we even start putting it out here. And then we can say that one just goes home, because now on the outside belt, it'll go in here and then it will take preference over the flow in from this side. Good. This one, oops, we're going to need it for something else, so let's move it further up. But the CoverX build here is actually done. That and that, and we can put one more in like that. That one goes out. Good. So this is just circulating back and forth, and we also probably need some lights in here. There. I am going to force feed it so that it actually shows us what it's supposed to do. There we go. It's still on an awfully long cycle time, but that's because of this. And it was just one of those things that just keep going. So it'll be fine. It will eventually, if you look at it, like there's 60 here. When it has more than, I can even do it like this. So now it's completely full. Okay, that's way too much. Whatever. It goes up to 80. When it's more than 80, then it starts outputting. And then we'll see how that works once it's goes through the first cycle. There we go. So now it's outputting, and of course they're all outputting at the same time. But it works. You can see the stuff that goes in here will be consumed first for the next cycle. It will never actually jam, and it will go. Yeah. This one is actually picking up. Oh right, is that going to be a problem? I hope not. Otherwise, we can just filter these to be only the best part. So now it has gone in here again. It goes up, there, up to 81 or something. And we now see it has a little bit of reserve here. So we'll just wait for another round to go by here. And the next cycle is about to start. There we go. And we see that it fills up until it gets to around 80, then it stops picking up. And then anything else will flow beyond here, and that will be going in and saturating the rest of the network. So now it'll only just go with whatever each cycle will just produce the extra, and the extra will flow over, go into this box and go in here. And then once this is full, once it's 50, it'll go out into that side. Perfect. So we can leave this running and we can focus on the next thing. Next thing we want to make is all about ammunition. Because I could actually take this if you want uranium ammo. Basically what I'm doing now is an extended military hub. It's not something I need, but there's some space left. It fits with uranium. So if you want to have uranium ammo and use it, then here is a way to do it. You can now make uranium ammo up here. Additionally, I've had people say, we need cannon shells, or we need rockets. So if that's the case, well, we are going to be making it here because there's room for it. If you want to make this earlier in the game, then you can absolutely do that. I don't find it necessary, but I can also understand why some people do find it necessary. So let's do some design for a sort of little bit of an extended military built design or design here. And let's see. I am going to just start. I want to make sure that I make it the right distance away. Like that one, I think. Here. Okay, 1, 2, and that one, and 1, 2, and that one. So the first thing we want to make is, of course, we need to make explosives. There. And then we need to make sure that they get some water inbound. I am not going to get anything else on the outbound, so we can build it like this. And let's also just get some lights out here. Did I just annoy myself with that? Yes, I did. And this one, I can just flip it. And how much we need? 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces in between. Because we're of course going to have the outbound and we're going to have an inbound. Inbound comes here. The inbound will be just these two things. And then the outbound will of course be the explosives. Very simple setup. And that'll be like this. And in. That. And this one will then be gotten from, what did they say? I said explosives here, and sulfur, and there. Alright, so that gets us all of that. If we can just get the water in as well. Water's inbound, and we are now starting to get the first bit of explosives come in. So what are we going to do with the explosives? Well, explosives will just be made into 1, 2, here and down here. Up here it'll be for explosive cannon shells. They are really good for clearing spider nests. So if you want to clear spider nests on NAUVIS, they are really good. Some people also have an affinity for rockets, or they want to take the rockets and transport them to Volcanus to do something there. I don't know why, but you might, if you want to do it, then that's fine. Explosive rockets only belong in space, and piercing cannon shells are good for, or sort of singular cannon shells are good for worms, but you can make them if you need them there. And then this is going to be exactly the same. That's, well, exactly the same except opposite. There. And then lights and light. And that means this is going to be baseline, and there. This doesn't go out here. And then I will just need a box on either side. And these boxes will be the one below that, and the one on top that. And let's get some boxes here. I think I'm just going to cap it a little bit here. There. So, why is it not working? Oh, it's not working because this one needs... this one needs... Okay, so if only we had something coming in right here. That would be much more convenient. So we need to get some iron in here. Lo and behold, we got iron coming in. And inbound, in. And then we're going to do the same thing up here. And then figure out what we need. We need steel and plastic. So let's get steel and plastic in here. That's up here. And where do we have steel? And where do we have plastic? Plastic is there. And steel is here. There we go. And there's steel and plastic coming in. And that should give us everything we need. Now the only thing we're missing is down here. Yep, that's a good location. 1, 2, 1, 2. And we're going to get some lights here. And this will now be the uranium ammo, which will go in, out. And in a box out here. And then we basically used all of this space in a really convenient and easy way. You can also just link it out here so that this branch goes in and then the other one goes out and takes over. That's also an option if you prefer that. It is all possible. There, and for symmetry's sake, that is the one. Good. So that is basically our little military hub. Excellent. And this is all this is available, but this is not available for us now, so that's why it's marked empty. How do we get available? Well, that's yellow signs after the military tech. So we go on to look at our landing pad here. So the landing pad is also where we get science inbound. You can see we're already getting the space science in, and whenever we get some automation for getting this one back here, then we'll also get that in, the metallurgic science. But now comes something that I both think is pretty clever, and I also think is pretty horrible. So we want to make a little bit of purple science. And then you can go like, you know what? How about just doing this, right? Like, if we research the purple science, done, we got it, purple science. How much is this going to make? Every minute, it just makes 6 of those. It's not a lot, but you know, sure, let's just get a few of those. So I was starting thinking at like, yeah, well, if this is feasible, why not just make a little hack for this? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is what we can squeeze in. And like this has to be, or this is actually pretty simple. It just needs 4 items in, and then 3 items in and 1 item out. And it kind of the same way for if I did basically up here, just for the yellow signs. And the point is, yeah, this is the easiest thing in the world to do this. The hard part about this is actually getting the resources in. But the thing is, if we look at the resources, we got the blues, yeah, we got this, and we got that. All we need to do is make sure that we have a little box here for robots, because the robot is going to be idling, so no worries about this. That means we should be able to take the capacity we're using here on NAUVIS to actually make something useful. That's my hypothesis, at least. And then I just need the middle one here. The middle one will go over there and then just be part of that design. Okay, let's see if we can get that to work. Let's get started by making some power poles here. There, that's some power poles. Then we're going to be looking at some inboxes here and here. All right, and these will just be the items that are coming in, and they're not going to be very fast, but they could be like this. There we go. That's the output, and then this will be input. But if I want to do like this, then it has to be like that. Here, and then you're gonna grab there, and you're gonna grab from there, and that means light, and then mirrored inbound and outbound. Yeah, like this. Perfectly done. Is this gonna work? Yes and no. It's both gonna work and not gonna work. Why is this not gonna work, and why is it gonna work? Well, it's gonna work because I already have the items, so this is fine. I already have this part. I already have this part. So all of these things are available, and they are probably built up with full storage before we even get in here. Then, so that makes it actually work immediately. It doesn't make it sustainable. And I can understand why you really hate this, because I kind of hate it as well. But then I found out that it actually also works. And then I hate it a little bit less, because what this means is that I have such a simple build here. This is small, simple, uncomplicated. It's temporary. It is just there, right? But as soon as we start working on the military science, or this science, then I can actually go up and make automation 3. We're going to get beacons, we're going to get automation 3. And when we got automation 3, then we can actually upgrade these to put 4 modules in each. Technically, I could also get this one to be in this space here, so I could put beacons in, but then we're really running out of materials here. This is simply, the base is going to be idle, not doing anything. This way, it's going to do something. While I am over doing the stuff we did on the previous episode, setting up this hub. Then we know back on NAUVIS, things are progressing and it's just making a little bit of science. That we don't need very much science, as we illustrated. Don't need a lot of science, but we do need a little bit of science. And that little bit of science, we will get it, which means we can either upgrade everything here, which to yellow assemblers, I don't care. I don't think I care, or I might do it at some point. But I don't want to. But on Volcanus, I might do that. And then that means we can also do designs on Volcanus that use beacons moving forward. And that's convenient. I could spend a lot of time after we then unlock beacons and beacons and assembler 3 to upgrade everything else and make it better, and then thereby spending more time here. But it kind of works. It doesn't need to get better. It just needs to run and do a little bit. What you might run into is actually power problems, and if you do, then from the very first masterclass, we have this beautiful nuclear power plant that Jeff S. has designed for us, and we can just throw that in here, and what we'll have is we have some beautiful designs. Then it will be going, what is it, like this, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then in. There, that one, and there. That gets water in here, and then we actually start having a nuclear power plant that is working. This design was also part of it. So this design is ready and just starts making some nuclear power. 480 megawatt of nuclear power in the starter base. Very, very efficient use of space and super nice. With all this done on NAUVIS, we have a few things we need to take care of more on Volcanus before we're ready to go to Fulgora, but that will unfortunately have to be in another episode because we've already covered a lot of ground today. So we got a new sort of a little military hub that if you want to. We got the uranium processing and Covarex already done. We got the extension with the absolute hack of a build for this, but it kind of gets the job done. Between the productivity here and the productivity there, then we can actually start getting beacons and then also getting automation 3. Once you have those, then this one goes up. And we can also say, if we look at it like this, then it's producing 40 per minute. It's not a lot, but if you just think about it, this productivity here is only 12% productivity. That's not much, but it's something that means that it would just take 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes to actually get this done. Once it allows to stack up, and if it can run, and then it'll take a good 12 minutes to get there. But the issue will of course be, as you can see here, we are not producing enough electric furnaces. We're not producing enough of the productivity modules to keep up with this. That is understandable and expected. When we can see that we have more of this, we can sort of cycle between getting, for example, getting the beacons, then maybe going like, okay, what is the most important thing? It's actually this one that's the most important, and then we can go back to getting assemblers 3 and sort of alternate between something that's yellow, something that's purple, and then gradually it'll probably work. We might want to get military 3, which is not that expensive, and then when we come back to production science, then there might be something else we can get there. So once we actually have our yellow assemblers researched, then if we just upgrade this one, we don't do anything except upgrading it. Remember, it was 40 per second before, or 40 per minute before, and now it is more. And I need more of these. There. It's up to 55. Obviously, it's limited by a lot of by the fact that each of these is slowed down a lot because of the productivity modules. But just throw in a beacon, and if you want to get faster. But remember, you can't keep up with this production anyway. And even if you could, then the robots could probably not keep up. But this is not about sort of getting high numbers. It's about just having it chug along at 55 per minute, it's fine. And you can alternate between something that requires purple and something that requires yellow, and then you'll eventually get the few necessary things. And once you have those, you really don't need anything else. So that concludes this update here. And of course, the blueprints are updated for this episode with the stuff we were missing here at NAUVIS. And then the next episode, we'll be talking about how to clear out the worms so we can get some tungsten, so we can get some green belts, and we can also get some cliff explosives going on Volcanus. Those are the things that you will do in parallel, so you'll basically be jumping back and forth. But I feel for progression's sake and for consistency's sake, we'll only do one of the things at a time here in for these masterclasses, and then it's onwards to Fulgora to unlock the electromagnetic plant. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time. Oh, why do I always forget this? Blueprints are, of course, available to patron supporters. So, if you are a patron supporter, thank you very much. And if you're not a patron supporter, well, we built it all here on camera, so you can just build along if you want to. Patron supporters can download save games, and they can download blueprints that I'm preparing sort of for each episode. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. Until next time, take care and stay effective.